Alın. Evet, inan. ऑन हो गया चाहिए मैं पहले पूरी तरह हो ना। हाँ 98 होने के लिए क्या करते हैं 14 में पढ़ने से लाख
Assalamu alaikum, students. In the previous lecture, we discussed actinomycetes, but we didn't finish it. Today, we will discuss Nocardia asteroides, which is actually a actinomycete. And what are the important properties of Nocardia? It is aerobe. As we discussed, Actinomyces israelii was anaerobe, but Nocardia asteroides is aerobe. There are two species in Actinomycetes, which are Actinomyces israelii and Nocardia asteroides. Actinomyces israelii is anaerobe, whereas Nocardia asteroides is aerobe. It is present in soil and it is gram positive. It is weakly acid fast. That is, the staining process uses a weaker solution of the hydrochloric acid than that used in the stain for mycobacteria. If the regular strength acid is used, they are not acid fast. Beta, what are acid fast bacilli? As I told you, that they can't be discolorized or decolorized by the acids or alcohols. नॉर्मली क्या होता है ग्राम स्टेनिंग में कि जब हम डिकलराइजर यूज करते हैं विच इज अल्कोहल और एसिड दो ग्राम्स ड्यूरिंग ग्राम स्टेनिंग क्या है कि बेटा बैक्टीरियाज जो हैं दे डिकलराइज बाय द एसिड्स और अल्कोहल्स बट इन एसिड फास्ट बेसिलाई दे कांट बी डिकलराइज्ड बाय द अल्कोहल्स और एसिड्स सो दे आर कॉल्ड acid fast bacilli. Acid fast means they can't be decolorized by the acids. And what are weakly acid fast? In weakly acid fast, if we use the weaker solution of the acid or the hydrochloric acid, they can't be decolorized. But if we use the regular strength acid, which is used normally in the Zn staining or Xenon staining, they will be decolorized. So if we use the weaker solution, then they can't be decolorized. But if we use the regular strength acid, they can be decolorized. So they are not actually acid fast, they are weakly acid fast. Weakly acid fast means when we use the weaker solution, they can't be decolorized. They are thin branching filaments. As we discussed in the previous lecture, Actinomyces israelii is also a filamentous structure which resembles the structure of fungi, or the structure resembles the hyphae of the fungi. So Nocardia asteroides is also a filamentous structure, and there are thin branching filaments. Sulfur granules are not present, and sulfur granules were present in the other species of actinomyces, mycetes, which was Actinomyces israelii. Actinomyces israelii had the sulfur granules, but Nocardia asteroides have no sulfur granules. Sulfur granules are not present in the Nocardia asteroides. In immunocompromised individuals, they can produce lung infections and may disseminate. What are the clinical findings of Nocardia asteroides? What is the disease that is caused by Nocardia asteroides? Nocardia asteroides causes nocardiosis. What is nocardiosis? It is actually the lung inflammation. It causes pneumonia. It can cause the subcutaneous infections. After pneumonia, it can cause the lung abscess, and after lung abscess, there will be cavity formation in the lungs. You can see the x-ray of the patient. You can see the patchy infiltrates in the lungs. So the pneumonia which is caused by actinomycetes is actually atypical pneumonia. As we discussed in the previous lectures, we discussed in detail in the special bacteriology part 1 that what is typical pneumonia and what is atypical pneumonia. It is very, very important. Typical pneumonia is the pneumonia in which there are the characteristic signs and symptoms of pneumonia are present, which is a high-grade fever and productive cough. Whereas if we see the x-ray of the patient of the typical pneumonia, you will see the lobar consolidation. But in atypical pneumonia, there may be 8 typical symptoms, and you will see the patchy infiltrates in the whole lungs, and the organisms that are responsible for causing atypical pneumonia, मैंने आप सबको लिखवाए थे वो organisms, they are Legionella, Chlamydia, influenza viruses, boviruses, and Nocardia asteroides also causes atypical pneumonia. It causes pneumonia, subcutaneous infections, lung abscess, and cavity formation. In immunocompromised persons, the organisms may spread to brain, skin, or kidneys. So, in immunocompromised patients, it will disseminate to the other organs of the body, and the disease is not communicable. Actinomycetes are not communicable. Actinomyces israelii and Nocardia asteroides, they both are non-communicable. They can't be transmitted from human to human. So human to human transmission is not present in both of these. How you will find, how you will diagnose? You will see the gram-positive branching rods or filaments in the specimens, and they are weakly acid fast. As I told you, when we use the weaker solution of the hydrochloric acid, they can't be decolorized. But if we use the regular strength acid, they will be decolorized, and they are aerobes. What are the clinical specimens used in the lab diagnosis? It could be sputum, it could be pus, and it could be biopsy tissue. And the treatment is sulfamethoxazole trimethoprene. Okay. Now we finish the actinomycetes. We discussed 2 species in the actinomycetes. They are Actinomyces israelii, which is responsible for causing the hard, non-tender swelling, mostly in the face or in the neck, and the pus will discharge from the sinus tracts. And Actinomyces israelii is an anaerobe, and the structure resembles that of the hyphae of fungi, and it contains sulfur granules, and it is the part of the normal flora of the oral cavity. Whereas Nocardia asteroides is not anaerobe. Actinomyces israelii is anaerobe, whereas Nocardia asteroides is aerobe. So we require aerobic environment to grow it in the lab. So the structure of the Nocardia asteroides is also a filamentous structure, but the sulfur granules are not present. and Nocardia steroides is responsible for causing pneumonia. And in immunocompromised patients, it will disseminate into the other parts of the body. So we finish actinomycetes here. If you have any questions, you can ask. Excuse me. Students? 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 बच्चों?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
Ma'am.
Or should we move forward to the next topic? Excuse me. Can you respond, बच्चे? बताएंगे आप, आपको कोई questions पूछने हैं? Or should we move forward to the next topic? Hello.
Next topic पे चले. Ma'am, next topic.
He's a child with a child. He's one of those moments. You want to learn about this?
Our next topic is chlamydia. The important properties of chlamydia, as you know, we always discuss the important properties of any organism first. Chlamydia are obligate intracellular organisms. What is obligate intracellular organism mean? It means that it will not survive extracellularly. So it must, it will have to be intracellularly to survive. It cannot survive extracellularly. So obligate means it must be present within the cell. They have a rigid cell wall but don't have a typical peptidoglycan layer. Their cell walls resembles those of gram-negative bacteria but lack muramic acid. डेस्कटॉप शेयरिंग पॉज्ड है, एक मिनट, एक हाथ रेज। बच्चे ने हाथ रेज। Yes, Humaira, do you have any question?
मैम स्लाइड्स नीति शो हो रही है, अब होगी।
Okay.
थैंक यू।
So our topic is chlamydia. The important properties of chlamydia are they are obligate intracellular organisms. Obligate intracellular organisms means they have to be present within the cell to survive. They must be present within the cell to survive. They have a rigid cell wall but don't have a typical peptidoglycan layer. The cell walls resemble those of gram-negative bacteria but lack muramic acid. Now we will discuss the species of chlamydia. Chlamydia trachomatis. Chlamydia trachomatis is responsible for causing sexually transmitted diseases such as urethritis. Urethritis is inflammation of the urethra. Cervicitis, which is inflammation of cervix. Trachoma. Trachoma is actually the inflammation of the eyelids, and it is responsible for causing blindness. And lymphogranuloma venereum. It is actually a ulcerative disease of the genital areas. And the second species is Chlamydia pneumoniae. Chlamydia pneumoniae is responsible for causing pneumonia. And the third one is Chlamydia psittaci. Chlamydia psittaci is responsible for causing psittacosis. So there are three species of chlamydia: Chlamydia trachomatis, Chlamydia pneumoniae, Chlamydia psittaci. Chlamydia trachomatis is responsible for causing the sexually transmitted diseases in which there may be urethritis, cervicitis, and trachoma and lymphogranuloma venereum. And Chlamydia pneumoniae, as the name shows, is responsible for causing pneumonia, and Chlamydia psittaci is responsible for causing psittacosis. This is the chart which will show the medical importance of the chlamydias. First of all, you will see the Chlamydia trachomatis. It is responsible for causing urethritis, as we discussed, pneumonia, conjunctivitis, lymphogranuloma venereum. Lymphogranuloma venereum, as I told you, is the ulcerative condition of the genital areas, and then trachoma. And the natural host of Chlamydia trachomatis is humans. The only host or the natural hosts are humans. And the mode of transmission to humans is by the sexual contact or by the perinatal transmission. Perinatal transmission is the vertical transmission in which the organism will be transmitted from mother to fetus. And the number of immunological types are, or the serotypes are, more than 15. How you will diagnose? The diagnosis of the Chlamydia trachomatis, we will discuss it in the lab diagnosis column later on, and we can discuss it here as well. Inclusions are present in the epithelial cells, and you will see the inclusions by the Giemsa staining or by immunofluorescence, and you can also diagnose it by culturing it in the cell cultures. And the treatment is tetracycline or erythromycin. Now comes to the Chlamydia pneumoniae. As I told you, the name shows Chlamydia pneumoniae is responsible for causing atypical pneumonia. And the natural hosts are atypical pneumonia means atypical symptoms may be present. In addition to the respiratory symptoms, there could be diarrhea, vomiting, otitis media, otitis externa, sinusitis. They are present in the atypical pneumonia. And it is and dry cough is present. The fever may be lower than the fever present in the typical pneumonia, and there will be patchy infiltrates in the whole lungs. So The natural host of the chlamydia pneumoniae is humans, and the mode of transmission to humans is by the respiratory droplets. So chlamydia pneumoniae is transmitted by the respiratory droplets, and chlamydia trachomatis is transmitted by the sexual contact. And how you will diagnose the chlamydia pneumoniae? You will diagnose this by the serological test, and the treatment is tetracyclines. This table is very important. Chlamydia psittaci is responsible for causing psittacosis. Psittacosis is also in psittacosis, it will cause pneumonia. And the natural host is different. In this species, the natural host is different, is transmitted by the birds. बेटा ये आपने याद रखना है कि बाकी दो species जो हैं, Chlamydia trachomatis and Chlamydia pneumoniae, उनका mode of natural host क्या है? They are only humans, but in Chlamydia psittaci, the host is different. They are birds. And how it is transmitted? It is transmitted by the inhalation of the dried bird feces. So the transmission is by the bird feces, and the number of immunological types is only one. And how you will diagnose it? You will diagnose it by the serological test, and treatment is tetracycline. So we discussed the three important serotypes of chlamydia. Chlamydia trachomatis, which is responsible for causing trachoma, sexually transmitted diseases, and lymphogranuloma venereum. And the host is humans. And Chlamydia pneumoniae, which is responsible for causing atypical pneumonia, the host is humans, and the mode of transmission is by the respiratory droplets. And Chlamydia psittaci is responsible for causing psittacosis, in which there is pneumonia, but the natural host is different. It is transmitted by the birds. The natural host is birds, and it is transmitted by the inhalation of the dried bird feces. Now we will discuss the life cycle. We never discuss the life cycle of any bacteria, but in chlamydia we have to discuss the life cycle. बच्चों remember कि हमने अभी तक किसी भी बैक्टीरिया का लाइफ साइकिल नहीं पढ़ा. Usually we discuss the life cycle in parasitology. So this is the only bacteria in which we are going to discuss the life cycle of bacteria. It occurs extracellularly as inert spore. As I told you, it is obligate intracellular organism. Obligate intracellular organism means it survives only intracellularly. So extracellularly, it is present as a spore. It occurs extracellularly as inert spore-like elementary body. It enters the cell and reorganizes into metabolically active larger reticulate body. So it is present extracellularly as elementary body. When it enters the cell, it activates into the metabolic active form, which is reticulate body. Then this reticulate body divides many times by the binary fission. As you know that bacteria are divided by the binary fission into daughter reticulate bodies. The daughter reticulate bodies change into elementary bodies. So extracellularly, the spore, like inert spore, is present, which is elementary body. When it comes in the cell, it will convert itself into the metabolic active form, which is reticulate body. Then this reticulate body divides by the binary fission and forms many daughter cells and many daughter reticulate bodies. And then these reticulate bodies again change into the elementary bodies and then are released from the cell. Within the cell, these elementary and reticulate bodies are contained within a cytoplasmic enthelian body, which can be seen and visualized microscopically. Now, we will discuss the life cycle by this diagram. As I told you, extracellularly, the elementary body is like inert spore. When you can see it, this is elementary body. When it enters the cell, it converts itself into the metabolically active form, which is reticulate body. This is reticulate body. This is elementary body. When it enters the cell, it forms the active form, metabolically active form, it is reticulate body. And then this reticulate body multiply itself by the binary fission, and many daughter reticulate bodies are formed. And then there is reorganization of the reticulate bodies into elementary bodies. These are the elementary bodies, the blackish color. Okay. The development of the elementary bodies are within the large cytoplasmic inclusion. Okay. And then the multiplication ceases. Now these elementary bodies will be released from the cell. So extracellularly, the inert spore, which is called elementary body, enters the cell. When it enters the cell, it converts itself into the reticulate body, which is active form. Then this reticulate body divides by the binary fission, forms the many daughter reticulate bodies, many daughter cells, and then these reticulate bodies reorganize to form the elementary bodies again. And then these elementary bodies are present in the last cytoplasmic inclusions, and the multiplication ceases, and then they are released from the cell. This is the life cycle. Now we move to the transmission. As we discussed in the table, that Chlamydia trachomatis infects only humans. The only host is humans, and it is transmitted sexually or by the passage through the birth canal, or it is by the vertical transmission, transmitted vertically. Vertically means from mother to fetus. And then Chlamydia pneumoniae infects only humans and transmitted from person to person by aerosol or by respiratory droplets. So Chlamydia trachomatis is the only host of the Chlamydia trachomatis, and Chlamydia pneumoniae is humans. Chlamydia trachomatis can be transmitted by the sexual transmission or by the vertical transmission, whereas Chlamydia pneumoniae will be transmitted by the respiratory droplets. But as I told you, Chlamydia psittaci infects birds, and the hosts are birds and many mammals. And the humans are infected primarily by inhaling the organisms in the dry bird feces. So the host is different in Chlamydia psittaci. The host is birds, and the humans are infected by inhaling the bird feces. Trachoma is the leading cause of blindness in those countries where Chlamydia trachomatis is endemic, and it is mostly endemic in the African countries. Patients with a sexually transmitted disease are co-infected with both Chlamydia trachomatis and Neisseria gonorrhoeae in approximately 10 to 30% of cases. So patients with sexually transmitted diseases may be co-infected. As you know, Neisseria gonorrhoeae is responsible for causing the sexually transmitted diseases, which they may be urethritis, prostatitis, cervicitis, and same is the case with chlamydia. They are also responsible for causing sexually transmitted diseases, and the persons that are infected with sexually transmitted diseases may be co-infected with both of these bacteria. So, in sexually transmitted diseases, the patient may be co-infected with both chlamydia and Neisseria in approximately 10 to 30% of cases. Chlamydia infects primarily epithelial cells of the mucous membranes of the lungs. So, as I told you, chlamydia can infect the respiratory epithelium. By pneumonia is responsible for causing the pneumonia in patients infected with chlamydia pneumoniae, and Chlamydia trachomatis is responsible for causing the sexually transmitted diseases. And so chlamydia actually infects the mucous membranes of the lungs or the epithelial cells. Chlamydia psittaci. As I told you, the host is different in Chlamydia psittaci. it actually infects, the host is actually birds, and the mode of transmission is by the bird feces. And Chlamydia psittaci, which is responsible for causing psittacosis. In psittacosis, mostly the lungs are infected, and it is responsible for causing pneumonia as well. It infects the lungs primarily. Infection may be asymptomatic, detected only by the rising antibody titer. It may produce high fever and pneumonia. So the patient may be asymptomatic or the patient may be symptomatic, and the symptoms are fever and pneumonia. Fever, difficulty breathing, it could be dry cough, it could be productive cough, and this is non-communicable. Chlamydia pneumoniae, as the name shows, it is responsible for causing atypical pneumonia. It causes upper and lower respiratory tract infections, especially bronchitis and pneumonia in young adults. So remember, chlamydia pneumoniae is responsible for causing bronchitis and atypical pneumonia in young adults. Chlamydia trachomatis. We discussed in detail about this organism. It causes trachoma. What is trachoma? It is actually the inflammation of the inner eyelids, and it causes chronic conjunctivitis. It is endemic in Africa and Asia, and in those countries, it is responsible for causing blindness. Trachoma may reoccur over many years, and it may lead to blindness and causes no systemic illness. So trachoma is actually limited to the to eye, and it is not present in the other organs of the body. This is the typical presentation of trachoma, and it is responsible for blindness. Type D to K. So the serotypes D to K cause genital tract infections. We are now talking about Chlamydia trachomatis. As I told you, Chlamydia trachomatis in kitni serotypes hai? 15. The serotypes of Chlamydia trachomatis are 15. So the serotypes from D to K causes genital tract infections, and in men it is common cause of non-gonococcal urethritis, often abbreviated as NGU, non-gonococcal urethritis, which may progress to epididymitis, prostatitis, which is inflammation of prostate, and proctitis. What is proctitis? Proctitis is inflammation of the lining of rectum. So Chlamydia trachomatis is responsible for causing trachoma, which is actually the inflammation of the eyelids, and conjunctivitis. It can lead to blindness. The second one is it is responsible for causing genital tract infections. And in genital tract infections in men, it is responsible for causing urethritis, epididymitis, prostatitis, and proctitis. And in women, cervicitis develops, and cervicitis is inflammation of cervix. Cervicitis may develop, and it may progress to salpingitis. What is salpingitis? Salpingitis is actually the inflammation of the fallopian tubes, and it may progress to the pelvic inflammatory disease, जिसमें पूरे के पूरे pelvic organs involved हो जाते हैं, ठीक है? And the repeated episodes of salpingitis or PID, which is pelvic inflammatory disease, can result in infertility or ectopic pregnancy. So in women, it can lead to cervicitis, salpingitis, or at the end, pelvic inflammatory disease. And if there are repeated episodes of salpingitis or PID, it will result in infertility or in ectopic pregnancy. Now, what is neonatal conjunctivitis? Neonatal conjunctivitis is caused by Chlamydia trachomatis, and it is transmitted by mother to fetus. Infants born to infected mothers often develop mucopurulent conjunctivitis. और बेटा neonatal conjunctivitis इससे पहले आपने किस में पढ़ा है? अगर आपको याद हो तो we studied it in the Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Neisseria gonorrhoeae में आपने पढ़ा है ना neonatal conjunctivitis, जिसके लिए आप erythromycin देते थे, ठीक है? And as I told you, in sexually transmitted diseases, about 15 to 30% of the individuals are co-infected by Neisseria gonorrhoeae or chlamydia trachomatis. And same is the case in neonatal conjunctivitis. The infants born to infected mothers, just like Neisseria gonorrhoeae, they often develop mucopurulent conjunctivitis. Neonatal inclusion conjunctivitis, we call it. Why we call it inclusion? Because of the inclusion bodies present in the structure of chlamydia trachomatis within 7 to 12 days after delivery. So infants will be infected with chlamydia trachomatis, and they develop conjunctivitis after 7 to 12 days after delivery. And some develop chlamydial pneumonitis after 2 to 12 weeks after birth. What is Ritter's syndrome? Ritter's syndrome is actually caused by chlamydia trachomatis. उसमें होता क्या है बेटा? Patients with genital tract infections caused by chlamydia trachomatis have a high incidence of Ritter's syndrome. आप लोग बेटा सुने ध्यान से, we will discuss later. जैसे मेरा lecture complete होता है, we will discuss it. Ritter's syndrome is actually caused by chlamydia trachomatis. Patients with genital tract infections caused by chlamydia trachomatis have high incidence of developing the Ritter syndrome, which is characterized by urethritis, arthritis, and uveitis. So, this Ritter syndrome is characterized by arthritis, urethritis, and uveitis. Uveitis is inflammation of the uvea, which is the middle part of the ear of your eye between the retina and sclera. And Ritter's syndrome is an autoimmune disease caused by antibodies formed against chlamydia trachomatis. They cross-react with antigens of the cells of the urethra, joints, and uveal tract. So, beta, इसमें है क्या Ritter syndrome में? It is actually autoimmune disease. When the patient is infected with chlamydia trachomatis, the antibodies are formed against chlamydia trachomatis, and these antibodies cross-react with the normal cells of the urethra, joints, and uveal tract and causes inflammation. So, बेटा क्या है कि जब किसी भी पेशेंट को chlamydia trachomatis का इन्फेक्शन हो रहा है, उसके अंदर एंटीबॉडीज बन रही हैं जो कि आपके अपने ही यूरेथ्रा, जॉइंट्स और यूवियल ट्रैक्ट के सेल्स के साथ क्रॉस रिएक्ट करना शुरू हो जाती हैं. ठीक है, जैसे कि हमने एम एंटीजन पढ़ा था स्टेप्लोकोकस ऑरियस में. इसी तरह बेटा क्या है, it is actually an autoimmune disease caused by antibodies formed against the chlamydia trachomatis, which cross react with your normal cells of the urethra, joints, and uveal tract and causes inflammation. So this syndrome is characterized by urethritis because the antibodies against the chlamydia trachomatis cross react with the normal cells of the urethra. Arthritis because of the antibodies reacting against the joint cells, and uveitis because of the antibodies that cross react with the antigens present on the uveal tract. Now, how you will diagnose it? First of all, you will take the sample. आपको पता है बेटा, जब भी आप लोगों ने किसी भी ऑर्गेनिज्म की डायग्नोज करना है, सबसे पहले आपने सैंपल लेना है. ठीक है. So in genital tract infections, you will take the urethral swab in men, cervical smear in women, and eye swab from the conjunctivitis or in trachoma. And you will do the Grimza staining, and in the Grimza staining, you will see the cytoplasmic inclusion bodies inside the epithelial cells. You will not do the Gram staining, okay? You will do Grimza staining on the samples, or you will do the immunofluorescence. ELISA or PCR could be done on the urine sample as well. So if you take the urethral swab, if you take the cervical smear, or if you take the swab from the eye, you will do Giemsa staining or immunofluorescence, and you can also do ELISA or PCR on the urine sample. Chlamydia can be grown in the cell cultures treated with a cycloheximide, which inhibits the host cells but not chlamydial protein synthesis, thereby enhancing chlamydial replication. You can also, as I told you, you can grow the chlamydia in the cell cultures, and in the cell cultures, you will treat it with cycloheximide, which will inhibit the host cells and enhance the chlamydial replication. So, cycloheximide क्या करती है? Chlamydial replication को enhance करती है और host cells को inhibit करती है. ठीक है? In cultures, Chlamydia trachomatis form inclusions containing glycogen, whereas Chlamydia psittaci and Chlamydia pneumoniae form inclusions that don't contain glycogen. The glycogen-filled inclusions are visualized by staining with iodine. So, Chlamydia trachomatis के inclusions जो हैं, they form inclusions containing glycogen. So you will see it by staining with the iodine. And whereas Chlamydia psittaci and Chlamydia pneumoniae form inclusions that don't contain glycogen. So you don't have to stain them with the iodine. So lab diagnosis में सबसे पहले आपने क्या करना है? Sample collection करनी है. Then you will do the Giemsa staining or immunofluorescence. Or you can do ELISA or PCR on the urine samples. Or you can culture it in the cell cultures. You can grow it in the cell cultures, and in the cell cultures you will treat it with the antibiotic with the cycloheximide, and cycloheximide actually inhibits the host cells, whereas it enhances the chlamydial replication. Exudate from the eyes, respiratory tract or genital tract gives positive cultures in about half of the cases, and serological tests are used to diagnose infections by Chlamydia psittaci and Chlamydia pneumoniae. As I told you, as we discussed in the table, जो हमने सबसे पहले table किया था, उसमें आपको मैंने बताया था serological tests are only useful for the diagnosis of Chlamydia psittaci and Chlamydia pneumoniae, but they are not useful in the diagnosis of Chlamydia trachomatis. But really helpful in diagnosing the disease caused by Chlamydia trachomatis, because if the frequency of infection is so high that many people already have antibodies. तो बेटा क्या है, सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीजेस बहुत ज्यादा होती हैं, बहुत frequently patients जो हैं, they are infected with these kind of organisms. So antibody titer जो है वो पहले से ही बहुत high हो सकता है. ठीक है? So the sensitivity and specificity of the serological tests are not as good as the sensitivity and specificity of the serological test in Chlamydia trachomatis are not as good as in the Chlamydia psittaci and Chlamydia pneumoniae. So you will have you will do the serological test only in Chlamydia psittaci and Chlamydia pneumoniae. You will not do the serological test in Chlamydia trachomatis. How you will treat? The mode of treatment are tetracyclines, in which you will give the doxycycline, and the dose of doxycycline is 100 milligrams 2 times a day. And macrolides. In macrolides, you will give azithromycin or clarithromycin or clarithromycin. The drug of choice for the neonatal inclusion conjunctivitis is erythromycin. Erythromycin is the drug of choice in conjunctivitis caused by Chlamydia trachomatis and Neisseria gonorrhoeae. So, we finish chlamydia here. Any questions, students? कोई क्वेश्चन है regarding chlamydia?
Gonna stop at this house, okay?
Students, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Find something to dress your wound with.
क्या पढ़ा है हमने आज? क्या पढ़ा है बच्चों आज हमने? Can you mute your device, please? बच्चों क्या पढ़ा आज हमने?
मीडिया पढ़े हैं,
हमने क्या पढ़ा है?
मीडिया पढ़े हैं और नोकार्डिया पढ़े हैं, एक्टिनोमाइसिस।
ओके हुमैरा, आपने तो चलो सुन लिया, बाकी मुझे बताओ बच्चों क्या पढ़े आज? Where is your CR and GR? Umair, Mariam, where are you people? What we discussed today? You people are least interested. मैंने तो सोचा था अभी हम डिस्कस करेंगे बच्चों। ऑब्वियसली उस तरह इंटरेक्शन तो नहीं हो पा रहा आप लोगों के साथ जिस तरह हमारा क्लास में होता है, हम डिस्कस करते हैं टॉपिक को, लेकिन आप लोग बेटा यहाँ भी डिस्कस कर सकते हो। एनी क्वेश्चंस? नो?
नो।
ओके, थैंक यू।